Hello, facilitators. Welcome back to yet another PBL based learning module. And the concept for this particular module is personification, grade 5 chapter paper boats. So, what is personification and what are we going to teach our learners all about will follow. But before that, let me just remind you why we do PBL activities. Now, a project based learning activity would engage and allow our learners to explore and develop their skills. Yes, like we have our skills, writing skills, listening skills, speaking, and reading. So these skills can be enhanced by these PBL activities. With that, let's begin. Personification is our module. And here are the learning outcomes and the learning objectives. So, the learning objectives, the learners will use simple sentences to share imaginary stories, discuss imagination and communication, build imaginary characters and stories using paper items and everyday objects. Whereas at the end of every PBL, the outcome would be they are able to write and speak on imagination, communication, and provide and suggest personal views. They answer in written or oral in English. They use meaningful and grammatical correct sentences. They read texts with comprehension. They connect ideas. They are able to write paragraphs in English. They are able to write a mini biography or a mini autobiography, and they also attempt to write creatively. Yes, so these are a few learning objectives and learning outcomes. What is the leading question for this particular PBL or this particular chapter? Can we find a person in everything around us? Can we find a person in everything around us? These are the possible questions that might pop up in the minds of our young learners. What are the ways to describe a non living thing? What can be compared? What are the other techniques to enhance our writing? Yes, with that, let's move on to activity one. What do they have? Okay, so this is a small reading comprehension. Let me read it out for you all first. The wise old people tree Bhima watched the library. Sunny, a bright sunflower, drooped, missing the sun. Bhima boomed. Books hold stories that can take you anywhere. Sunny, curious, peeked at the book titled Tales of a Traveling Sunbeam. Bhima suggested that the librarian read it. With each word, Sunny felt transported, sailing on sunbeams and chasing rainbows. Sunny wasn't just a flower anymore. She was an explorer who had touched the sun through books. Wasn't that amazing? Now, with this, you can ask our learners to match the object with their words given. Activity 2. What did the swing say to the slide? Swing and a slide. Speaking conversation. Let's see. Here, the learners have to use their imagination to write down what the various things in the playground were saying to each other. How did they feel? Now, the swing is saying, "Hello, slide. What a beautiful day it is today." The slide is saying, "Yes, swing. I'm looking forward to what the day brings." So, likewise, you can also see the seesaw, which is popping in to have a conversation, which our young learners can use their imagination and build this conversation further. Okay. Activity 3. What is behind the mask? So, a mask is provided on the page of our PBL. They have to create a mask of any one non living object. They can use human characteristics to it and then they can share the idea with the class. The learners have to answer the following questions. What are your reasons for choosing this character? How do you relate to this character? Do you find anything common between yourselves? Yes. So if in case our learners are going to choose a pencil as a non-living object, but they are going to give it human characteristics to it, they have to write the answers based on why they have chosen the pencil and they have added the human characteristics. Yes, with that, activity 4, pull it all together. Learners have to create a story. The beginning, there was a bench on the side of the road. It gave advice to the animals on matters that troubled them. So the learners can continue, and then they have to come to the middle of the story, and then they have to give a very sensible ending. So this is something that they can explore outside their classrooms, and they can also work in pairs or in groups. Yes, it will allow them to be more creative. It will allow our learners to bring in collaboration, and it will also allow them to develop or enhance their writing skills. Yes, facilitators. So let's allow our learners to create their imaginary story. Every PBL has a practice sheet. So the same as with this PBL where 10 questions are given. The facilitators, you can read out the questions and the options. Our learners can be guided to provide the answers, following which, as facilitators, you can provide an explanation for why the following option has been chosen. So 10 questions, and you have an OMR sheet where our learners can be guided to bubble the answers in their OMR sheets. This would help them or give them a live experience of how they can get prepared for their future exams. For the complete solution to all the practice sheets provided at end of each PBL, you can refer to Teachopia and you may follow the path that's given below. With that, I would say thank you, facilitators, and happy learning.